Seetha Radhakrishna taught mathematics with a specific philosophy. The discipline is inherently comfortable with uncertainty. In her world, it's only the final results that demand resolution. In 1993, she married a man who disrupted her carefully ordered life. Shekhar was a dynamic tech founder, a variable she hadn't originally accounted for. Shekhar poured that energy into NovaBridge systems. During the economic boom of the early 90s, he filled offices with engineering talent and hardware, building a bridge between emerging technology and a changing country. By April 1995, the stakes were massive. Shekhar was on the verge of closing a partnership in Singapore that would bind companies across two countries to a shared future. Every calculation pointed toward success, but in an instant, an unforeseen variable arrived to shatter the equation entirely. At 11:52 p.m. on April 3, 1995, Shekhar's car left the highway near Durgapur. He survived the crash, but he entered a profound, indefinite coma. Shekhar wasn't dead, but he was gone. His total removal from the active world left Seetha alone with a newborn son and a future of absolute uncertainty. The impact reached NovaBridge immediately. Without their visionary leader to navigate the expansion, the company and its partners were left rudderless at the very moment they were meant to scale. For Seetha, the problem was structural. She had to find a way to anchor the equation of her life while the primary variable remained in a void. Seetha solved for the vacuum by stepping directly into the NovaBridge boardroom. She had no official title, no background in software, and no formal role in the hierarchy. Yet, week after week, she took her place at the table. She didn't argue strategy or technical stacks. Instead, she took meticulous meeting notes, using her presence to hold Shekhar's space for him. By passing these records to the acting CEO, she forced the founders to factor Shekhar into every corporate decision. He remained a part of the architecture because she refused to let the seat go cold. She had converted a chaotic emotional void into a stable structural presence that the company could build around. Maintenance at this scale is unglamorous. It is the relentless daily repetition of small routines that only shows its cumulative weight over years. That discipline extended to her son, Ram. He grew up in the margins of professional spaces, doing his homework in hospital waiting rooms and company offices. In 1999, at a board meeting she had to attend, a 4-year-old Ram sat quietly in the corner, observing the CFO's daughter, Lakshmi. It was the first link in a connection that would eventually define the next generation. Keeping Ram in these rooms gave the founders a living, breathing reason to keep NovaBridge alive. The company wasn't just a business, it was an inheritance. Every notebook entry and every hospital visit anchored her son's future to the legacy his father had started. The global tech boom collapsed in late 2001, and foreign capital fled emerging markets. NovaBridge was forced to permanently close its doors. Seetha's effort can be quantified in this final tally. She documented exactly 73 meetings over 6 years, a perfect record of time spent holding the line. When the end came, she wrote the final entry and boxed the notebooks in storage. The business was gone, but the structural gravity she provided kept the surviving founders tethered to one another for decades. They remained a family long after they ceased to be a company. The company's ledger eventually closed at zero, but the consistency of her presence until the final entry was the value that actually endured. And then in February of 2025, exactly 30 years after his car left that rain-soaked road, Shekhar Radhakrishna finally opened his eyes. He found Seetha in the same chair she had occupied for 3 decades, sitting alongside a 30-year-old son he had never known. Because of Seetha's meticulous preservation, Shekhar woke up to find his family, his son, and the history of his life waiting for him, fully intact. Seetha couldn't change the accident, but by becoming the unbreakable constant, she kept the equation balanced until time finally provided the answer.